I was on, you're like, oh, 'cause I just
Why does it sound like that? Hold on.
Got it.
It's because we just read this book. Now we think it's Verity.
Hold on.
All right.
My computer just went crazy.
she froze.
Oh
I'm
no,
scared.
her internet.
Is it better? No?
You're
We
still
can hear you, but
frozen.
you're frozen.
Hold on. I think everyone's frozen on me.
You're good now.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird. Everything was fine, and then I started recording, and it went. It said no. Whatever. I can't see anybody. Oh, there you guys are. Where did Crystal go?
As it's recording now.
Is Crystal gone, or is she frozen?
Oh, that's a
She's
good question.
gone.
Okay.
I was gonna just go ahead and here. Let me just pause. Okay, we get it. We get it. Okay. Yes, chapter 19 is where we left off, and
We left off, or we should have left off, right? Because I read it all in one big bang because I wasn't here last time.
Mm.
And we cut off right in the middle of the sex scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did. What do you think of that?
Sucks.
That sucks. More reason for you to keep going.
Because then you had to pause. Like, oh.
It was creepy when they were locked in the room. I did think that Verity was the one that locked it. I didn't think it happened on accident.
I low-key thought it was the son. What's his name?
Crew?
Drew. I low-key thought, but I was like, how high did he put the lock? Because he's still little.
I was imagining one of those ones that's on top of the door, like the little latch ones that you just drop down.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know.
I still think Jeremy did it. I don't care how the book ended. It was just, no man is that perfect.
Mm-hmm. He's not. I mean, the fact that he literally ignored her when she said the main thing and this whole reason why she's dead in the story is because he missed that main thing. They're like, hey, this is the key to writing the way I have to write. And he's like, nah. That was sad.
How was that? Like, is it just coincidental, or did he just filter it out?
No, I think he was an asshole and didn't really pay attention.
Care. He pretended to care, right?
Yeah. I feel like maybe he did love her in the beginning, and then at some point he was like, you know what, I'm over it. And I think maybe, I mean, I don't think he planned out the whole getting Lowen and all that stuff, but
yeah,
I feel like at some point he was trying to.
Did you catch that where she's like, she finally responds to him, and the first thing she says, "Don't hurt me." Do you think maybe he was like abusive in some way? Because like she, in her letter, she says that she made up, like she elevated every scene, right? So like including the sex scenes, but that doesn't like explain the teeth marks or the marks on the headboard. Because that means it's like, oh, that really didn't happen.
Mhm.
Maybe. It was very sketchy because he knew that she was a good writer because obviously she was very successful and that's how they made their money. So it seems weird that he wouldn't have believed that that was a work of fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And Lowen found that manuscript quickly when Verity said it took her. She could never find it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
That's
I
true.
think,
It was just on the
very-
top of a pile, right? Like
yeah.
the first box she opened.
So Jeremy left it for her to find really easily, maybe, but kept it hidden from Verity because he wanted Lowen to kind of, be in cahoots / help. That way he could also control her if things ever got involved, like with the police,
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
it was,
I'll go for it.
there's some just like loose ends.
Definitely a lot of loose ends.
Were you saying something, Judith?
Yeah, but then I forgot. Right when I was like, "Oh, go, you go," and then I was like, "I'm gonna stick with it," and then it just left. But I'll be back. I'll be back.
So one of the loose ends
I was
I
like,
noticed.
well, oh, sorry. I was shocked by the fact that, like, he had already read the manuscript, but he made it seem like he was so shocked by it,
Yeah.
Mm. My thought goes back to that. If he read it, which I'm 100% like I believe he did, he was there with her with all this, because it was right when she met Jeremy and blah 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 blah, and they did all these actions. If it was elevated and not true, he would have known, because he was living it with her. So if like, how do you? It's like if he knew it was a lie just by reading it, then and he still went along with it, like, oh, I never saw it, or and still believe that she did all this. I don't know. I feel like he's still evil.
Yeah.
I think, although, I mean, it comes down more to Harper's death. Like, he wasn't there for that. So
But
maybe he just thought it was, like, to that extreme and it actually happened like that. Because I think that's what, like, hurt him the most.
I
Why
wonder.
was Verity still upset when she caught them making out at the top of the staircase? Because she still obviously cared for him.
Yeah.
That she stayed, even though she had planned to like leave.
Yeah. I feel like it's a toss up, like, because we didn't find out what happened. But I'm curious about the conversation between Verity and Jeremy when he's saying, like, it's obvious you don't like Harper as much and now she's old enough to notice. I wonder how that conversation really happened, because I feel like that would have impacted Jeremy's point of view when Harper died. So maybe like that conversation really did happen in a closer to what the manuscript says, I guess. And maybe that's why he believed the rest of the manuscript.
Mm-hmm.
What if she wrote it kind of in Jeremy's point of view? Like, Jeremy viewed her as evil and he viewed her as like responsible. Like, he kind of viewed her as the villain, whereas maybe these things were just like accidents that happened in their life. So it was like believable because it was kind of like how he interpreted things. He was the one making her seem like the villain, but maybe she was just the victim.
Oh, snap. That makes sense.
I can see that. Like, all of it was true, and he had this like little itch saying like, oh no, she's mean, or she did that this way. And then obviously before he read the manuscript, he's probably like, oh no, you know what, she's not doing this, she's not doubting her. And then he reads this and he's like, nope, I was right the whole time, don't believe anything she says. I can see that.
Yeah.
I think Jeremy's the bad guy, she was a victim, 100%. But then
Is she gonna now don't finish your thought?
I was gonna say, do we believe the letter though, everything she wrote, Or did she twist it? Because she is a writer.
I don't know, because Drew
Crew.
would have said something. Like,
True.
he like basically was like the floor. You know, the floor. This is where she hid things.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he didn't know about this, or else he would have like gone in or whatever. Like, she wouldn't have been on the floor. Like, from what, like that scene where she was like on all fours or whatever, and she had seen her through the little nanny cam.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that was her safe spot. Because if he knew about it, I don't think she would be on the floor.
But she could have also been, that could have been her manipulating, like what Lowen said at the very end of the book, like Verity was manipulating some type of truth. Like she could have been doing all this floor stuff as another plot line
Mm-hmm.
to make herself look innocent, knowing that Lowen saw her on the nanny cam on the floor and knowing that Crew might slip up one day.
Mm-hmm.
Like making sure she put a picture of the girls and like writing this letter.
Mm.
Maybe she wanted someone else to find it so they would think that Jeremy killed her, kind of, you know. I also feel like it's kind of sketched how Lowen totally hid the letter. I wonder, like, did she really just want that life with Jeremy? Was she scared of Jeremy? Because it was really intense how I described, like, her even eating the pieces that said the name Jeremy.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable reading that.
She's also like psycho. I mean, okay, yes, she's doing the whole sleepwalking and everything, but when she got pregnant in that moment, like using the pillow to not let anything like,
That's
She's
gross,
crazy.
yeah.
what are you doing? You know, like,
It made me think of maybe they're all villains because Lowen had a hard life and maybe it was kind of like easy for her. Even though it was scary, it was easy to start living with Jeremy and kind of like, in a way, take over what was some semblance of Verity's past life. Like, you know, she's with a kid, she's getting pregnant, she's staying in the house, the room, and now they're married. And she's, you know, even now associated with the books that Verity wrote. I felt like it was too easy for her to just be like, I'm here, and just, you know, go with the flow. I feel like she took advantage a little bit.
yeah.
So then was that Jeremy's plan all along? Did he like think she was attractive and want it to play out like that?
It could be.
I think after the deaths of his daughters, I think that's when he was like, nope, I can't be with her.
Yeah. And they did get the life insurance money after all. Did you guys catch that?
I
part?
know. When that
Yeah.
came up, I was like, well, I mean, we got something right there.
But that makes him look even more sus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's
is what I wrote. Like,
Having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
yes, he already knew he wanted the money.
Yep.
We did have said that, right? It's
Because
like,
he wasn't working. Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe he did plan it since the beginning.
That's what I think.
But it
Yeah,
was-
I think.
Oh, go for it.
No, go ahead. I'm agreeing with you.
No, I was just gonna say it's like he had this plan, but then she also had this plan, and they didn't. I guess they didn't know that they were each gonna have their own plans, and obviously that's why things got crazy.
Mm-hmm. Went awry, big time.
Yeah. It was good though. It was good.
I really liked
Yeah.
it.
It was really good.
I've
Alright,
already
guys.
recommended it.
My mom would like this one too. I'll have her read it, I think.
I was
Wasn't as scary as I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the one thing. I thought, Judith, you made it sound like I was going to be like, couldn't read it before bed.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what people said. They're like,
These
I'm
people
gonna
are
have to
scared real
go
easy.
talk to my therapist. I can't. You won't be able to sleep at night. I kept seeing videos and people talk about it. I could have read this at night. I would have been fine. You know?
Comment like, have you read The Shining or not?
Yeah.
The Shining was way scarier.
I read the
And that one I
Shining
read
at
before
night.
bed. I don't know why, but I did.
Exactly. I read that one too. I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna keep reading. If if I face some demons from these books, then oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll elevate my experience. I don't know. I was gonna say something else and I forgot.
What did you guys rate it out of 5 stars?
Oh, yeah.
5.
4?
Four?
Katie, why?
Oh,
She's
don't
reading her own
attack
book
her.
because she wants the new one to be 5.
Uh-huh. I gave it a 4 because I feel like the author could have made the whole Verity situation scarier with her being like a vegetable.
That's
And
true.
then also the fact that I think the nurses must have known. That was one of the loose ends because I think April thought that Jeremy was abusive and that's why Verity was pretending to be sick. And I feel like she just could have played more on like the locked door and Lowen having sleepwalking issues.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna have a bigger part.
Yeah, me too. I gave it a 5 because it wasn't like it kept me trying to read farther along every time he stopped. I think it was more because I got mad at the end that I didn't see it coming, that it could have been her writing, you know? I was like, damn it, it's obvious, you know?
It surprised you.
Yeah, so when books do that, I don't know, because I'm always trying to think ahead, even though I kind of hate it. But
You like it when they're not predictable.
Huh?
You like it when they're not predictable.
Yes, and that's when I give the book a 5. Like other ones, if they're 4 or 4.5s, but if I don't see it coming, I'm like, damn, you got me. 5 for you.
Yes. What I liked is, like you were saying, Judith, I felt like towards the midpoint of the book, we were going off with a lot of different, like, oh, it could be this, it could be that, and I feel like it makes it more interesting. To be sure.
I'm just an easy rater. I thought it was good.
Everything's a 5.
Very good.
Just kidding.
Me too. I mean, for me, it was more like it was super captivating that I actually finished it because the last 2 I haven't finished still. So
Still pending.
Hey, at least you're honest.
Yeah.
I haven't even finished Firekeeper Starter either, so it's okay.
Which one?
That one was not as good as I thought.
Firekeeper
The
Starter.
last
Yeah.
one.
Last one was Firekeeper. What was the one before?
I think it was Midnight Librarian.
Oh.
I'd give it a 4 also because I was super into the book and like intrigued, but I feel like it was a little dark and like almost none of the characters were very likable. And there wasn't
That's true.
like I really liked the Firekeeper's Daughter, how we had like the cultural aspect and you got to know all these characters, but then there was also that mystery, like it was more multi-dimensional, and this one was just kind of like a straightforward. I don't know. I mean, it had dimensions with the past and what's true, but I don't know. It was more like a logical story.
Yeah.
But I felt like, but I did think it was really good for a book club with all of our theories and stuff.
I love when we
fun.
all just go haywire. They're like, this, but maybe. You never know. Maybe.
Yeah. I wonder too. I still kind of am curious about what happened with Verity's parents as well. That's kind of like a loose end that wasn't really, it was alluded to, but not really explained well enough for me.
Yeah. I wish I had more of a background of each of them. Because obviously it could all be just trauma that they're putting on other people. And we can say it's that, but I think it's better when they actually like give you evidence and you're like, oh shoot, like, ooh, a lot of things can affect your future and you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I wonder if she did it on purpose because I feel like since we don't know that much about any of their pasts, then it's harder to say like, oh yes, they would have done this because of that, you know.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point, Julie. I think part of the reason I gave it a 4 is I didn't like any of the characters. Like, I mean, I liked them as characters, but I wasn't like rooting for one. I didn't even like the little boy, and his freaking iPad. Because and the thing with like the self-harm with the knife, I thought, I mean, I know he went through a lot of trauma, but that was,
I think he's gonna try to kill his little sister.
Oh.
Oh my god.
into the family.
Yeah, I feel like he's just the fact that he's like 4 or 5 years old and can hold a knife and just like push it into his gums. Like that's crazy.
That was creepy.
Like I feel like he'd be like kind of like one of those kids that's like hate that the attention is off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since he's so close to his dad. Like you can tell the dad moved him upstairs. He slept with him. Like, you know, he's very attentive towards him. And once that's gone, it's on somebody new. He's going to get really jealous.
Yeah.
And he's going to, you know, take it out in some way. Or he's going to need to take it out in some way.
I feel if I was Lowen and I was the parent and then I was living with Crew, I would always be like, I wonder what his mom told him if she really was evil. You know, like maybe she said, oh, if I die in 2 years, like do this crazy thing or something. I think I would be very paranoid.
I just think you have to be so crazy to like pretend to be, you know, basically a vegetable for that long. So she was either what she wrote in the letter was not true, or she was that scared of Jeremy, like hurting her or turning her into the police. And seeing what he did to her, she probably should have been scared because, I mean, he did try to kill her, like, and make it look like a car crash, and then did the finger down her throat, and then had her, it was like suffocating her. And then I wonder how she was planning to run away with Crew, and I wonder how she was planning to execute that.
That's what I was thinking too, because I'm like, she could have done it when she closed the door. Why not just grab him and go? We're locked in there, you know? But I think, was it you, Crystal? Because we kind of talked about it a little bit while we were on the trip. And I think Crystal said that that's when she wrote the letter, which I had forgotten. Like I said, I read it right after.
I think it was Corina.
Oh, was it Corina? Someone told me.
I forgot what I said.
Someone told me that I think at that moment is when she was writing the letter that we read at the end. And I had forgotten since I had read it right after the last meeting. But I also wonder, I'm like, how would you have pulled that up? Because obviously they killed her pretty quick after that.
Oh, and she did mention she was waiting for that money to hit her account, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or something with the book deal, that money.
Yeah.
But how would she have known if they didn't talk about any of that within the home?
Maybe through the computer. Maybe that's why it was taking so long, because she had to wait for the computer to be by itself.
Oh boy. He might have to go potty.
I wonder why.
Jeremy's more and more sus the more we talk about this.
Yeah. I wonder why Verity didn't kind of have an electronic version of the letter. Again, maybe she didn't have access to the computer like before once Lowen got there, but she could have written it a long time ago and like stashed on the computer somewhere, and then, you know, in the event of my death, release this file to all my fans or something, and so they know the truth or something. I don't know.
What else?
The manuscript should have had a disclaimer on the front, like this is a work of fiction.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think she's cray. I mean, how could she take the kids out with no life jackets when she knew that one couldn't swim?
Mm-hmm.
Or why take her out to begin with? You don't have to take her on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe that was like their way of getting back at each other. You know, it's like some people always put their kids in the middle, and it's just like, oh, you're gonna be like that. I'm gonna do this then, or I'm gonna do that. Like maybe something was going on. Like maybe both of them somehow knew the marriage was ending, and that was her, like her way of staying with him. It's like if I pretend I'm like can't move, he'll take care of me, so he can't leave me. Like you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he felt guilty because he made her into that state.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it's not like how normal people would handle the situation.
Yeah, I think they're all twisted, and I think that too, they were both jealous because if Verity said like, oh, she was so jealous in her manuscript, which was exaggerated, then she was jealous in true life. And then I feel that there was a small part where it said Jeremy was also jealous when Lowen mentioned that she had like been with her publicist or something. So maybe they were just both like very, very toxic and things just went sour. And now Lowen's along for the ride.
Some people like that, though. Like that toxicity in the relationship, you know, like they both can't leave it.
Mm-hmm.
The karmic relationships. The twin flames. I'm just kidding.
Did anybody read the end where, what is it, the acknowledgements?
No, I never read those. What did it say?
Because she actually does say a little bit about like how there's not going to be a second book. That this is kind of like an indie thing that it's like different than from what she usually writes.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
What does she usually write then?
Romance. I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, I have no idea. Just kidding. I have no idea.
No, but that makes sense because didn't one of us pitch a book by the same author and it was more romantical? It sounded more romantical, the doctor one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to read it because people were like, it's life-changing. You're going to cry. It's going to hurt. And I was like, ooh, let's make it hurt. But
yeah,
I'll just have to do that on my own time.
I like how she calls her fandom cohorts because Colleen Hoover cohorts.
Oh,
was
that's
funny.
cute.
We can always save it for February, the romance month. Have a theme.
For February and October, scary and romance.
Oh, she wrote to like a lot of specific people. I've never seen that.
Yeah, she had a list. It's like 1 through whatever, like
Yeah, I see
30,
that.
40 people.
Even E.L. James?
I don't even know that many
It's a
people.
gray. Your career does not impress me nearly as much as your soul. I also recognize another one, but I don't know where she's from. Shane Crawford. And oh, she even said it to her book club. 21 book
Yeah,
club.
I read that part.
I know I'm the worst book club member, but
I
thank
just
you
like
so much for that
skimmed.
one night every
Yeah.
month where we just get to hang out, talk books, and eat cake. It's my favorite night of the month.
They only get one month.
I'll write you guys in.
I know, that's what I thought too. I was like, that's so little.
Yeah. Crystal, you mentioned the movie, right? The book club movie or something like that a long time ago.
Yeah.
I
About
think
the older women.
I think they made up once a month.
I think so too. Because they're like, this month we're gonna read when they were reading
Yeah.
50 Shades series.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
some people just meet and they just discuss the whole book rather than
That's
in
so.
pieces.
I wouldn't be able to remember everything that I read in the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
And I would procrastinate and then like not read it.
Yeah.
I mean, I already procrastinate, so.
Yeah, that's what I do. And I'm always listening to it like 3 times speed the day of.
3 times speed.
It's like, I don't really got one again.
Yeah,
I've done
that's
that.
like
And then I'm like,
with
wait,
my
wait.
coworker. And then I told them I'm in this book club and we meet every week. And they're like, wow, you can keep up with that? But I'm like, yeah, but it's easier because you just have like a small chunk.
Yeah.
You give your little spiel and you're done.
Imagine if we read a book a week. A lot of money.
The Kindle versions are cheaper, so I've been getting them on my Kindle. So why are we reading on the next one, Judith?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the next book is this little baby.
Oh, it's pretty.
It is. The blue is more teal than I had imagined. It's so nice. The first section, I separated it into 4 since we're gonna have the Labor Day weekend off.
Labor Day.
Yes. And we're gonna read around 92 pages.
Okay.
And the first section is chapter 1 to 9.
Thank you.
Well, 1 to 10, just don't read 10. I just say
So
9 so people don't, get too crazy like, well, you said 10. So don't
1 through 9, stop at 10. That's
And it doesn't seem like the font is that tiny.
okay.
Pretty small, but it's kind of spaced out.
Yeah. We'll see if we can do the 90. I think
I'm
we'll be
excited.
okay.
Yeah, it sounds doable.
Yeah.
I'm excited for mythology.
Judith, my book is not as smooth as yours.
Smooth.
You feel it? You hear that?
Where'd you buy it?
Amazon. But this just like, it's like raspy.
Texture.
Oh, mine's smooth.
Yeah. Like it almost feels like sandpaper.
I like when they feel like that.
Do you? Hers was so smooth. I was like, oh, that's nice.
Because I ordered it a little earlier than you. Just kidding. I don't think it matters.
You got it on the same day.
I know. But I'm excited.
Look at my watch just said, there's no friend as loyal as a book. Time to read.
That's cute.
Nice. I did notice there's a character glossary in the back.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Which is awesome because I think the names are obviously, we're going to be confusing. And I also noticed they had a little like images of the gods and immortals,
Ooh.
Chiron and all of them.
I'm excited more to read now.
Yeah. I was like, ooh. And it also has discussion questions.
Oh, nice.
I like that. I like when they have discussion questions. I always read them at the end.
So
We've done that before, no? Where it's like we actually go through and like ask the questions at the end.
I think we've done it once or twice, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
When
we
they
did it
actually do
for-
are included.
if the book has them, yeah. So we can probably do that at the end of the meeting since it doesn't really say. At the end of the book, the last day.
Yeah.
So then we don't get some spoilers or something.
Right. Sometimes it says, when this happens, what did you
When
think?
this
And then you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're like, they died? Shoot.
I think we did it for like our first 2, right? When we are still kind of figuring out what we're going to do. I think it was the Guardian and Vanishing Half that had the questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Jeremy was giving me Richard vibes, so.
God.
100%.
Are we ever gonna forget Richard?
No.
Probably not.
Who's Richard?
He was our first man.
From the Guardian.
That Judith Loki was rooting for.
Because Judith
He
was
was the
positive.
killer on the loose.
It's The Guardian by Nicholas Sparks. It was our first book.
The
At
one
the
where we
book
were all
club.
together, yeah.
And that was such a good book to have as book club because it just had everything. We
Yeah,
had
romance,
and the
action.
romance.
I recommend it.
Yeah, we always refer to Richard because he's the main bad guy in our lives.
Yeah.
Guys, Odysseus is low-key kind of cute.
Well, he was a womanizer, so.
Yeah.
Well then.
Is Rico gonna join us?
I'll ask him, but I'm not sure because he has some things going on right now.
Okay.
But I think he would like it. He read the Odyssey in college and he liked it. I kind of want to buy the hard copy too.
Is Mies gonna join us?
He said he would, but he said if he did, he'd get the audiobook.
That's okay. That's
Because he thought, he was like, is it on a true story? I was like, I don't know.
Just say
I might
yes.
have to tell him it is so that he reads it.
Okay. Tell him it
At the end, we'll tell him.
Well,
But
yeah.
that shit didn't happen.
But Achilles was a warrior, so he's more like a true life one than the god.
Yeah, that's why he saw that and he was like, oh, this actually looks kind of interesting.
I do think it's an LGBTQ2 plus book from what it said on the back.
Wildly romantic. Okay.
I saw that too. Tense and exciting. Passionate. Beautifully written.
Alrighty.
This is her debut album, so we'll see.
Oh, what?
It's her first novel.
Yeah, Paula. I think Paula wants to come, but she's pretty busy next month. And she already read the book, so she can't say much.
She
But
can
she might
listen
miss.
in or watch the videos if she wants to.
Oh, yeah. And then she'll have to come to the last one. Yeah, she has a bunch of
Yeah.
weddings this month.
Oh,
Oh yeah, she mentioned that last time, right?
I think so.
exciting.
I bought the other one.
Oh, that's gorgeous
Oh,
too.
That's such a pretty I've seen that one everywhere. It was on Book of the Month, right? It's like it was one of like the top
Mhm.
I think so.
of like I think last year. Was it last year?
Mhm.
So is this like the beginning of like a sequel? Does this book have like a sequel?
I think she just takes Greek mythology and makes like her little own spin, but because it doesn't say it's a sequel.
Okay.
I think
It
they
would be the
just,
first time where we read only one book. The sequel.
But I feel like maybe the different characters in whatever world she's creating will cross paths in her book. I don't know.
maybe like Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Mhm.
I love that movie, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
The book's good too. It's a children's book too, so it's an easy read. And I think it's a series, but I only read the first one.
Mm.
That one girl that's in the movies, she comes out in what is it? The White Lotus. Currently obsessed with on HBO.
I don't think I've seen that one. I don't think I've seen that movie actually. I think I wanted to read the book first and then I never saw the movie after. I'll add it to my list.
Today doesn't feel like a Monday.
Oh,
I
it does.
know.
It does for me.
What time is it? Maybe
Time to go to bed.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna start reading. I don't know if I'm gonna start reading this one yet.
So you're saying we're taking off. You said we're taking off Labor Day.
So not this weekend, obviously. The following weekend. The first
Okay.
one.
So that way it's still like 4 weeks. We're just skipping next
Yeah.
week.
It would be 5 weeks in total. And I think I'm gonna go off of depending how this first section goes, we might extend the length that we have to read for the next one, or we can just keep it at how it is right now. Because right now it's like evened out, kind of like 90 or so.
Yeah.
But since we're gonna have that break, and if we're really into it, then I guess we could,
Keep reading.
read a little bit more and then just end it. We don't have to go all the way until the end of September. We can maybe do it a week before, if we all seem like
So we can do a spooky book.
we're on.
Please, please, please. It's like my dream come true.
So maybe we can do another really long one.
Yeah, I'll look for
Another
a shorter one because
Colleen
The
book.
Shining was long.
Yeah.
What was that, Julie?
Another Colleen Hoover book.
Oh.
We used to read Goosebumps.
Oh my god, I used to love
I
Goosebumps.
took them upstairs.
Not that you can really talk about those much.
No.
Very straightforward.
We read one each week,
Mhm.
right? I mean, there's many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny. Oh, that'd be cute. And just, just a little thought.
So Corina, start thinking about which ones you're gonna pitch.
I'll
I guess we do-
research it more heavily for this coming month. Yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll deviate from Stephen King, so I'm sure there's other ones. But I feel like the books that I've read with him are just very well written and pretty creepy too. So
I'd like to read something else of his. I really enjoyed that one.
okay, I'll search. And I like it too because there's a lot of movies too, and I just love comparing like the book and then the movie after too. It's
Mhm.
always intriguing for me.
That was
So
fun.
far they haven't been good, huh? The ones that we've seen the movie to.
Except for The Shining. But I
Uh,
think if you want to read one that I read over the summer that was scary and not as long, I think Carrie is really creepy and scary. And then there's the old original movie and then the newer movie too. So
I've never even seen the movie. Would be too scary for me. I don't like. American Horror Story is as scary as it gets for me, and even then I have to pause it and be like, look away.
Oh my god.
Pet Cemetery is good too, but then you have to read about critters dying, so that's kind of sad.
Stop it.